Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad you decided to tune in. I am so glad you are with us because we are downtown Oklahoma City, home of the AAA Oklahoma City Dodgers, Bricktown Ballpark, and we have the AAA manager, Travisbarbary. And Travis, you know, hey, I'm just so glad you decided to join. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time, so thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, first of all, I'd be remiss if I didn't start with your 29 years with the Dodgers. Congratulations. Talk about that time as much as you can.
Yeah, it's been an awesome journey for me personally, for my family. Just been very blessed to spend 29 years with the same organization, and no place I'd rather be. The people that I work for and have worked for over the years have given me opportunities to do what I love to do, and I feel like this is the best organization in all of baseball. The way they treat their people and the way they treat players and put people in the best position to be successful, and just very thankful I get to do it here.
So did you get to see the picture that was circulating of you and Chase in the golf cart like 20 years ago when he was young?
Yeah, I actually remember that.
Oh, really? Okay.
I was the bullpen catcher at the time in Vero Beach, and that's when the family could drive down for a few days, and I was taking balls out to the field one day or picking them up. I don't remember exactly. And John Suhu ran into us and took the picture. And
he takes pretty good pictures.
Yeah, very good. And
yeah.
then when Chase was with us in spring training, I think in 21, John said, hey, we got to recreate that picture, even though we don't have both kids. Like, you've got one of them here with you. So, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so you mentioned Chase. That is your son. He was with the Dodgers for a while. Mm-hmm. I know he just got a new great gig, so talk all about him.
Yeah, I'm really happy for Chase. You know, the whole thing with him getting into professional baseball, he knew he wasn't a prospect, but he wanted to make a career in the game as a coach. And he's a good person, works hard, does things the right way. And I feel like whether it's your son or anybody in this game, if you do things the right way, that you're going to get opportunities. And so when we released him, Ryan Cinco, who used to be with us, is now the field coordinator over in Detroit, called him and said, hey, we got an opportunity for you. And so Chase signed a couple days later with them and spent last year in high A, basically as a bullpen catcher, played a little bit. And then this year he's in Double A, and he's on player coach, which basically means he's not going to play anymore, but kind of transitioning into that full-time coaching role. And he's doing some of the game planning for the pitchers and working with the catchers and helping out with early work in the cage, and like having a blast, doing well. So I think he's found a nice little niche, and he's enjoying it.
So exciting. Okay, you're from South Carolina, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, so how did you get involved with the Dodgers?
So I went to junior college in South Carolina and played for a guy by the name of Lon Joyce.
Oh, yeah.
And the year after I left Spartanburg Methodist to go to University of Virginia, Lon started working for the Dodgers. And I played in independent ball for a year when I left Virginia, and was going to go back. And then in February of '94, Lon called me and said, hey, they need some catchers in spring training. Would you be interested? And I'm like, yeah. And so I ended up going down there with the understanding that, you know, might get released by the end of spring. And so that was my connection, and that was the door that opened for me, was to my old junior college coach. And 29 years later, I'm still here.
It's amazing how baseball is a big old network and a big old family, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you mentioned it, spring training. What is a spring training like for AAA manager? What's an off season like? What are your duties during those times?
Yeah, I mean, spring training, basically trying to get to know a lot of the new players that we bring in as free agents. Typical day, you know, you have some early work in the cages in the morning. I tend to spend most of my time with the catchers. Then we get out on the field. Maybe I have a field where I'm running the team fundamental, and then you know, you do your batting practice, and then go in for lunch, come out and play a game. So it's like Groundhog Day. Like, for however many days we're out there, they're all the same. But and then in the off season, it's nice to be able to just unwind, and I love to hunt. So pretty much out in the woods every day when I'm at home. So yeah, pretty simple. Okay,
so by the time these guys make AAA, you know, you mentioned free agency. A lot of times they're 30-year-olds, 31, 32 that have already been in the major leagues. They know how to play baseball, right? So I would imagine your job has a lot to do with communications. So, you know, how hard is it to, you know, these guys are just one step away from the major league, so that's kind of a me type thing, but you have to create a team type culture. How hard is that to do?
Well, it's actually not as hard here, because being a Dodger and affiliate, there's an expectation of winning.
Yeah, right.
And you make that clear from the get-go that, like,
And you've done a lot of it this year, haven't
yeah,
you?
and from day one, like, make it clear that, hey, we are part of the Dodger organization and we're here to win, as well as develop. And but I've been very fortunate. The group of guys that Brandon Gomes and Will Rhymes have put together, phenomenal makeup with the players that I have. So they make it easy, and you know, good players make you look better than what you really are sometimes.
Yeah. So take us what it's through, what it's like. Take us through what it's like whenever you get to call a guy in and tell him he's making the major leagues. Man, that has to be one of the coolest moments
Yeah,
ever.
I've tried to think of different ways to, like, maybe play a joke on them or something, and but I just can't contain it because it's one of those times where, you know, it's what they've been working for their whole life, and to be the one responsible for telling them that they're getting to fulfill their dream, it's just fun. And then, you know, lots of hugs, maybe some tears, and a lot of smiles, but that's what makes this worthwhile.
From a wins and loss perspective, this is one of the best Oklahoma City Dodgers teams ever put on the field. You guys have been fantastic this year. However specific, however broad you want to be, talk about this year's roster.
Yeah, like, we've had some a lot of success, like you said, but it seems like a lot of the success we have comes late in games offensively.
Yeah.
And I think that's a large part that we have opportunities to win those games because of our bullpen. Our bullpen's been phenomenal. Even like yesterday, starter got scratched right before the game, and we had to go to a bullpen day like 12 minutes before the game and told Washington he was going to start, and he goes out and goes 3 scoreless, and then Betancourt goes 3 scoreless, and I'm not sure that they had a runner each base after the second inning. And but I feel like each night, you know, anybody down in the bullpen is capable of going out and putting up a 0, closing the game.
Mm-hmm.
And our starters are stretched out now and throwing the ball well. So, like, pitching has been amazing, and it seems like offensively each night it's a different guy coming up with a big hit. But yeah, it's just been fun to watch, and sometimes I'm wondering how we're pulling some of these games off
Yeah,
late.
no
but
doubt.
like I said, it all goes back to the pitching. They're giving us a chance to do it.
You mentioned Trevor Betancourt. He just recently got promoted. Hey, just recently also voted by his AA peers best mustache on the team. No doubt about it.
Yeah, it's I haven't been around Trevor much, but that's the first thing I noticed. So yeah, he definitely sticks out with that.
Okay, last question for me. I've taken up a lot of your time. I know you're super busy, Travis, so thank you so much. Okay, you are definitely a manager that has your players' backs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that is just really obvious, and the players love that, so talk about that element of your managing.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's one of those things where a lot of times you're going out to protect them from getting thrown out of a game, and you want to make sure that they're staying in the game and getting their bats and getting their innings, whatever it might be. And sometimes, you know, I stay out there a little bit too long and know that I'm going to be ejected, but I'd rather be me than a player. And it's not something that I enjoy doing, but sometimes you just feel like it's something that you have to do, and it's part of it. And but I'm thankful too, like, that the umpires that I've come across in this league, great guys.
Yeah.
Don't hold grudges, and
They want to make the major leagues too.
yeah, and I think they understand too that it's part of the game. And like I said, I never want to have a confrontation on the field about a call or anything, but that's part of the game. And you know, it's nice to be able to come back the next day and know that nobody's got any grudges or any care from the night before.
You mentioned the umpires. Okay, the challenge system that you've used on the weekends, the robo umpires with the ABS, and then just none of it all. Which one do you prefer?
Personally, I would rather just go with umpires calling the game.
Okay.
And if we don't do that, the challenge system for me would be the best. Like, the ABS just seems, the zone seems very small this year. Walks
Seemed big
up.
last year, didn't it?
Yeah, and it's smaller this year for sure. And the walks seem to go up on the first 3 games of the series. And but I like the challenge system.
Yeah.
That way, if
Do you
players,
wish it came from the bench instead of the players?
no,
or
I
like
think the players, I think they've got the right idea. Like, if they're going to challenge it, they got to do it right away.
Yeah.
And,
Jemai did the other night really good on
yeah.
a really close pitch.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't know how the umpires feel about it, but I know that, like, they're still developing their skill set to call games in the big leagues, and when they're doing automated strike zone, they're losing out on the opportunity to get better behind the plate, and I think that they would probably tell you they'd rather call the game too. And I think players would agree that they'd rather have umpires call the game. So I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see, but yeah, it's an adjustment from the first 3 games of the series to the last 3 for sure.
Yep. Travis Barbary, congratulations to your son Chase. If he watches this, then hey, congratulations on your 29 years, and thank you so much for joining Dodgers.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. That was awesome.